the People's Telly.
Good morning. Welcome to another episode of the Profit Point Show, where we talk about investment, business, and advice on how you can make better decisions when it comes to you running your business. We're going to start with the stock market statistics and talk about the top gainers and losers as of yesterday, and talk about some earnings reports. Then move over to the business segment and discuss why you need to have NAFDAC registration for your products. And under the sectorial segment, we talk about a Greek case in point, tomato farming. All of this after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Profit Point Show, and we're beginning with the stock market segment. I have in the studio Ambrose Omodium. Ambrose is an investment analyst from Invest Data Limited. Good morning, Ambrose. Thanks for coming on board.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So let's begin with the top gainers as of yesterday. We had Seplat gaining full 10% up. Cadbury went up 2. Etel was up. Prestige, name it. Those were the top 5 gainers. Then for the losers, we've got Champions Brewery going almost 10% down, but that's 9.3%. Then Consolidated Allmark Insurance PLC also was down. Metro Benefit was down. Sunu Assurance, that former Equity Assurance, was also down, and Access Bank was down. So let's talk about the ones that actually catch our interest here. And the first on the list is Seplat. Oil sector. It's been a while. We saw them on top gainer. Not talk of being the highest gain in stock. Yeah. They've been beaten since this pandemic. Yes, beaten and battered since the pandemic started. So, does this mean that that sector is turning around now?
You know, I said it earlier that after this show that the oil sector is becoming attractive for designer investor. You know, when the price have came down for a long time, up to like almost they are 2 years low, some are making 3 years low, 5 years low. Naturally, investor or trader will look towards that kind of total position. And looking at Seplat has been one of the major, the leader in that sector, and they are involved in crude oil price. And when crude oil price crashed almost 21 years ago, it affected their first financial and also the second half year financial. And the market treated it like that. But when it came to a level, naturally it will attract investment, and people just start taking position on the price has to go up. Gaining 10% for me is not a surprise because the price looks attractive. This is a company that has about 1,500 as their book value, and it's selling for 300. It's far undervalued. Your safety of margin is high. Buying a Seplat at 300 for that, investors are taking advantage of. Definitely crude oil price will rebound. And you can see that for the last 2 weeks now, the price has really been looking up around $45 now. Tell you that gradually is coming up, and that will reflect on their financials for third quarter. For me, investors are taking advantage of the movement. For Cadbury result was not good, just like the same thing as Seplat. But because the price is low, traders will do that. We call it a market forces, not because of the number, because the price attractive. That is for Cadbury. But for Ete is understandable that this is a sector that is booming now. When I mean because of the new normal we are seeing, globally and Nigeria, that demand for data has increased, and not only that, every company has even shut down their kind of staff to work from home. No, schools are already online. The people are saying that there is potential for this, this sector, the telecom sector, to start coming up. People are preparing ahead of that, expectation. That is why see stock like MTN, see that their movement in price has been a bit stable, and also they as well have supported. If you look at the premium index in Nigeria Stock Exchange, they have been in green for a long time because of MTN performance and other stock. For me, those are sectors that we can look at, especially if you're a long-term investor, because this new normal has come to stay.
Okay.
For that is for Airtel. Then for
Prestige,
no, this is a company that gave a bonus, and at the same time, the sector is also supporting Prestige because they are doing a capitalization in that sector. Activities are there, going up and down, people are making money. But for Nimet is understandable. As I said earlier, the pandemic has impacted some sector, and which the healthcare sector is one of the sectors that have really enjoyed this pandemic as we speak now. Federal government is injecting funds, CBN is injecting funds, just to make them bounce back and also be able to handle what is happening in the economy, in the context of the pandemic. For me, I see potential in Nimet, Fixing, GSK, and other aligned industry within that healthcare. For investors, this is what you should be looking at so that you can make money for yourself. This is not time to say, the economy is bad. People are complaining about pandemic. You to see that, take advantage of the pandemic to make money by investing wisely.
Interesting. Thank you very much. Okay, losers chat. It's been a while I even saw Champions Bureau on any list one, but let's go over to the to Consolidated Hallmark Insurance. It was down yesterday. I mean, day before yesterday, it was down yesterday too. Is there something happening? Because that's insurance, and I know that insurance sector generally, that sector is improving.
The funny thing is that this is a company that paid an entry dividend of 1 kobo.
So what's going on with them?
No, that paid dividend of 1 kobo is going down. But for that of Champions Bureau, look at all the brewery companies in Nigeria. They are struggling. Look at the International Brewery. Nigeria Brewery Resort has been becoming more weak and decline of rate. Look at Guinness. Guinness rallied for 2 days just because the price is low at 12 naira, 13 naira. It moved back to 15 naira. But at the end of the day, if you're a long-term investor, you put money where you can get dividends, and when the company is not doing well, they will pay dividend. They can't pay you from what they don't have. But if you are looking for dividend, constant dividend, you look for a company that has potential. That is why you see that what we call sectoral rotation now. People are looking at the world of telecoms, the world of healthcare, because they know that these sectors, their earnings going forward will look better. And when they are performing, they will pay dividend. But talk like Champion Brewery, they don't have something to offer now. And even the International Brewery, they are posting negative number. For me, only traders can take advantage of those prices low now. But for real long-term investor or dividend investor, you don't put money where you are not expecting company to pay you dividend.
But if you look at breweries generally, what do you think that sector is it? Because there's a saying that when you're happy, you drink. When you're sad, you drink. It looks like a sector that should prosper even when people are not happy.
Yeah, I agree with you. But now I'll tell you that people are looking at what they have. It is what is available. People are paying school fees, rent, and you are not earning.
But we've always been paying school fees and rent.
You are not earning much at this particular time. You want you to advise yourself. You don't need somebody to advise you. You put drinks behind and do other things that's important. Water is there for you to drink. That's why they are struggling. I believe that for good investors, portfolio, rebalancing and repositioning is what you should be doing now. We have seen the second quarter's result of, or half-year result of this company. It will not give you an insight where you should be putting your tent, your tent as we speak now. For me, investors should not panic. I always say it anywhere that if you know what you are doing, that's why you need to up your game by getting investment education. Most people follow bad wagon to invest. They don't have investment goal. They just because of their friend. If you have because of your friend is investing, you will fall into a ditch. But you have investment goal. That investment goal will guide. That's why our first program on this program on this television will discuss how to plan your investment. If you have that goal, it will guide you to know the kind of stocks you should look at.
Thank you very much, Ambrose. Over to earnings report. Okay. And the most recent is the one from Northern Nigeria Flour Mill. It's a long time I heard that. I was almost telling myself, this still listed. It's been brought out anything good. But you see that their result was really fantastic. The revenue went from 4.15 billion as of 2019 to 8.84 billion for 2020 full year. That is a lot. And their profit after tax went from 31.7 million to 64.64 million. That's almost like 100% both ways. So what's accounted for this, given that they've been comatose for a while?
Yeah, actually, if you look at the food and the beverages, or call it consumer industry, they are also struggling. But the result that came from one, flour mill, this Northern Nigeria is a bit different from what I've seen from others, like Cadbury, Unilever, Nestle. We know Nestle was just because of, but these companies, these three companies, their numbers are different. Or NASCO, it tells you that there's something they are doing that people don't know, or they have another strategy of how they're making money. And when I started to look at this number that we're just discussing now, I saw that this flour may move their sales from 4 billion to 8 billion. And I was not Nigeria, sorry. I was wondering, I said, let me find out why this so. And I said that when you are eating to another people's market, and they are in the northern part of the country, and they are taking charge of those already because they are close to our borders and all those stuff. And at the same time too, they have some contract on feeding meat. That means this company has gone to do more research and where area they can feed. On that, you can see it has reflected on their top line. And any company that your top line is up more than 20%, it shows that that company is doing a fantastic job. I mean, if you are eating to other people's market, you are expanding to a new market, and that's what I've shown. And also moving from a negative position of about 31 million to almost 64 million, it shows that they've really done well. From a negative position, that means it's moving more than 100% growth, because we are moving from a negative result to a positive result. That's for me, it's a good result. But once again, that as you just said, for almost 6 to 8 years, we have not seen dividend from this company. And this is the first dividend we are seeing now, paying 15 kobo. And the earnings is now stand at about 36 kobo earning per share for the full year ended March. For me, it's okay, and that's an insight for investors that the likely first quarter we're expecting was to be positive, because if you look at the numbers that came from flour mill Nigeria, and this number, they almost look alike. They say that for the flour companies, that something is going special for them, knowing that Nestle, Unilever, Cadbury are not into flour business. But the ones that are into flour business now, because consumption of our bread continue and we have population, I think for those flour business now, it's like they are getting good with the economy. Whether they had a situation, people are still consuming bread.
Okay, fine. But this is like a new norm, given that they're coming from 5 years of sleeping. How sustainable do you think this is, or is just a flash in the pan?
Like you just said, but for a company to be down for 6 years and coming out with positive results, it's a sign that they are working at the background. And let's see their first quarter. Their first quarter will give insight whether it will be sustainable. Full year, we have seen full year, and they're paying us a dividend of 15 kobo. Yes, you compare that 15 kobo to their 4 naira 30 kobo price on the exchange. Yes, it's not too attractive, but I will tell you, it's still better than putting your money in Treasury bill. The yield is almost about 3 point something, or it's better than putting your money in Treasury bill for a whole year. Treasury and be getting 2.95%. For me, people can take advantage, and these are also food and beverage sector. And we're seeing that the flour business is different from others. These flour companies that are performing well, you can see that the different type of bread and size and everything there, tell you that there's consumption, and you know that the poor people, I tell you, the food they can run to is bread. And they have population in this nation. For me, I think it's a business that is going on, and I can see the result of this company showing that, yes, despite the pandemic, low income within the economy, people, potential power low, inflation is on the high side, but still, this company are posting good results.
They still get bread of 15 naira. I was shocked.
Yes.
Okay, let's look at the holding structure. They actually have flour mill actually has 58% in Northern Nigerian flour mill. Right. So I'm just thinking, how does this impact, out of this beautiful results, impact on flour mill as a company, flour mill as share?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. No, those, as you mentioned, and unfortunately, flour mill will be marking down for their own dividend tomorrow. And they are paying 1 naira 40 kobo, no dividend.
How much is flour mill now?
Flour mill is about 19 naira. They are paying 1 naira 40 kobo. And here they have about 58% is also paying 15 kobo. And for the past 6 years, they are not paying. Flour mill have been paying their own dividend. I mean, Power is doing well. That means having additional income from this kind of investment now, because where you have about 58 percent holding, that means you have a good holding there. At the end of the day, when they declare this dividend, they paid. It's going to boost their we call it other incomes in their books in the flour mill. For me, this tells you that flour mill has potential now to even post a better number going forward, because it's going to boost their earnings at the end of the day. Mark that this is not going to reflect at their top line, it's going to be at their bottom line, because it's an extra income. Yeah. Okay,
so how is the market reacting to flour mill now?
No, flour mill, when they just came out, because it's good, market they moved from about 17 naira to almost 20 naira now. And they paid just 40 kobo. And if I made a 3 naira on what you bought, waiting for 40 kobo is for long-term investor. Those traders would have started selling now because of the metric naira on 40 kobo. But for this, Northern Nigeria flour mill just came now, it's also an advantage, an additional information that will push flour mill up, and also impart this. But people are free because about 4 people have asked question this morning that can they jump into this store? I said yes, you can jump into it. One, be a long-term investor, so that you can still study the trend. You can buy now and wait, but now they are back to profit. I tell you, the possibility of them sustaining it is there. But we cannot just say because we are not working about the numbers shows that they are going somewhere.
That's interesting. Thank you very much, Ambrose. Let's take a look at livestock feed. Results is not displayed, but their half year, 2020, they grew their revenue from 4.83 billion to 4.92 billion, which is marginal. It's just about 1.86%. But interestingly, their profit after tax went from negative 6.58 million to positive 94.34 million. That is a lot. Of course, this is a sector that is still enjoying government policy, yes. So probably the cost of funding come down. Yeah. So they grew their profit after tax by 1,533.04%. Livestock is in a good sector, Yeah. Livestock is in a good sector that is enjoying government's policy, makes it good. But my fear with livestock is under UACN, and UACN as a company, as a group, seem to be having, they keep changing their policy here and there. Just like we spoke about Nigeria, Northern Nigerian flour mill, bringing good results. They have fantastic major shareholder, which is flour mill itself, with 8%. So the relationship is fantastic. But looking at UACN, they first decided to divest out of UACN property, before saying they're going to share to their existing shareholder. Then they came back and said they're selling to consolidated investment. They changed their mind. Then we saw that one of their major shareholder has also sold like 94% of their holdings. Yeah. A lot is going on in UACN, and I'm just wondering, given fantastic results from livestock, do you think the impact of UACN Boaz is going to have any? True, buy livestock, given the fact that their major shareholder is unstable. Is unstable, yeah.
For me, a company that's coming back from a loss position with such growth is attractive for one to look the way, and also the price is also low. And you know that now the government is really focusing on agriculture. We want to feed ourselves first. That's one. And they are into poultry and other things. I see that there's potential for livestock. And now to speak, many poultry are coming up here and there. That's why that many of them are complaining that the maize thing is affecting them. There will always be alternative, and that is why livestock is there for feed. And I think for me, livestock is not a bad place. Yes, the influence of UAC up and down movement, front and back, part of them just marginal because PCC has about 76% holding in livestock. And so they are there, but they are only part of the management, but I don't see them because they are different business entirely. For me, one can still work, especially those that are thinking long. If you are thinking long and you are earning little money, you can save with such stocks so that when you move from the price of 65 kobo, 70 kobo to around 1 naira, 2 naira, you have made good money, but you need to start saving in the process. For traders, you can also use your technical analysis to know whether it's at support level or resistance level to take position. For me, livestock is a store that one can equally look.
Thank you.
The price is low for a long-term investor and those small retail investors.
Okay, thank you. Let's go now. On half year 2020. They grew turnover from 12.97 billion as of 2019 to 14.53 billion 2020 half year. That's about 11.98% growth. And the profit after tax also went up from 1.45 billion to 1.49 billion. That's a 2.66% growth. Now, I told you, NASCON they're into salt majorly.
Yeah.
And salt is one product that you don't increase consumption because you have more money, and you most times don't decrease consumption because you don't have money. So the elasticity of demand of salt is inelastic. It doesn't just change. So I don't expect fantastic over-the-board results from NASCON, neither do I expect over-the-board negative results from them. So this is one company that's you expect something stable. But what can you say about the result? Because I know that they are diversifying into other condiments. So those ones might actually
be a boost too.
Yeah.
You know, like we just mentioned that growth sector is becoming attractive now, and they are going to, you know, tomato paste and other things there. And now you said salt is very important, and we all need it, and they are considered. But the good thing is that this stock, I would say that they have been considered in dividend payment. But for 2019, there was a decline from almost from 1 naira, 20 kobo to 40 kobo. That means something called for it. That means their number for full year was not too attractive. But we are seeing a little improvement in their half year result. It's a sign where they are going at the end of the year. And as an investor, what you can do, look at these numbers and start building start planning when to enter. Look at the price and enter at a good low price. That will be better for you. Because at the end of the year, we expect them to also pay dividend. What we're saying now, the result has been on the uptrend. First quarter was up, half year was up. On that note, if you start planning to take advantage of them.
Well, in your defense,
but the good thing is that the good thing in national is that check all the Dangote groups. All the Dangote group for this half year result. Look at Dangote Cement, look at Dangote Sugar, look at Dangote National Salt, and look at that one again. Now, all of them, all the companies, they are flat number. It tells you that these companies are not doing badly. And seeing that there's a shift from activity in the economy, people want to take off their tummy first. That means those companies that are involved in agriculture-related business, and those are like, so you said, their sales will be a bit stable. We're not expecting them to do fantastic, but little up and down movement. But for me, investor can tell you. That is why, as an investor, set a goal. Understand the business model of the company you are investing. Is there food so that if they increase price today, people start dropping that food, or if they increase price, they take demand it. Once you understand it in your mind, you can know when to beat your tent. But many investors are just invest because their colleague in the office is investing, my friend is investing. No, have a goal. That goal will guide you the kind of stocks you should put in your portfolio.
Thank you very much, Ambrose. I want to say in defense of NASCON, they could have reduced their dividend because they want to use part of the money to
expand.
So
okay,
we don't know that.
Okay.
Anyway,
you are speaking for them.
Well, you're speaking for them too. Anyway, thank you very much, Ambrose.
Yes,
of course, this brings us to the end of this segment, stock markets. We're going into the business segment. While we talk about NAFDAC registration and why you need to have it for your business, all of this after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. It's still the Profit Point Show, and this is the business segment, and we're going to talk about NAFDAC registration. Now, for some small-scale business or medium-scale business, they feel that it's not needed. I can really sell my products without a number, or it's expensive, or the process is just cumbersome. But today, we're going to talk about all of these things. I have in the studio with me Alhaji Dapo Wahab, a consultant on regulatory affairs, NAFDAC, as guests. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming. I'm very fine. I'm very fine, sir. Thank you. Yeah. So let us demystify this NAFDAC thing. Okay. First of all, what is NAFDAC registration?
Thank you very much. In my own simple explanation, you understand. So NAFDAC registration is just a simple process by which a company file required documents with NAFDAC. So after which satisfied by NAFDAC, so NAFDAC is issuing a number respect of the product being applied for. So, and NAFDAC registration number is a unique number assigned by NAFDAC to regulated product that have been at least approved and registered by the NAFDAC for public distribution in Nigeria. And then it is very important to know that in Nigeria, it is illegal to sell any product that has no NAFDAC registration number. Any producer that caught in line of doing that will be penalized by the agency. So it is very, very important for the producer of any product, most especially the regulated product like food, cosmetics, medical devices, chemicals, to get their product registered with NAFDAC to afford being penalized or paying a heavy fine.
Okay, so foods, cosmetics, medical, those are just the classes of items and businesses that actually require NAFDAC, or are there others included?
I mean the regulated for food, water, cosmetics, chemical, medical devices, and also of others. So it's registrable with NAFDAC.
Okay, let's pick food for instance. When we talk of food, we have, for instance, the people selling the normal tomato, for instance. It's food. Yeah, in the market, it's food. But we also have the ones that are packed. At what point do I need NAFDAC number, even though I sell food? Because obviously the market women, I don't think they require NAFDAC number to sell pepper and tomato, right? So at what point, what classifies a product to need NAFDAC number?
Let us get it right. You understand? There was a time a client of mine asked me a question. I want to register my gari. You understand? And we have a lot of Yaloja. They are selling gari, and nobody NAFDAC is not disturbing them. You understand? But at a point where your product has to be registered with NAFDAC, once you have your product packed, you understand, well labeled, you put address, you put name of the company, that is, it has become a regulated product. So you have to register it with NAFDAC.
So is the labeling and the packaging now that makes it require NAFDAC?
Of course.
That's interesting. Okay, so let's digress a bit. For those people selling things that are not packed and it's still food, are you saying NAFDAC is not concerned that those items also need regulation?
Let's get it right. That's what we call the food safety. You understand? Food safety. And we have a public health officers in our local government. You understand? You know that, so they are the one taking care of those ones. We are not saying that being a tomato, fresh tomato or gari, if you are producing it, it shows that you can do anything you like. You understand? There's a body that's responsible for that one. You understand? So at least we have been seeing a lot of public health officers in our local government in the market areas. You understand? Their market stores, kiosks, because of inadequate quality control check they're supposed to put in place where they are selling their distance.
Okay, thanks for the clarifications. Okay, so what is the benefit of a business having NAFDAC number to them and to the, of course, consumer? Is a sign that it's safe to take?
It has a lot of benefits and advantages, you understand? For instance now, let's see, the popular stores in Nigeria, we have ShopRite, you have Just Right, you understand? You cannot take any of your products to them that you want to be supplying them. If it lacks a NAFDAC registration number, they won't take it from you. You understand? That's one, and that is the one aspect of it. So that if you don't register your product with NAFDAC, it's like you are limiting your market scope. You understand? Both locally and internationally. You understand? If you register your product with NAFDAC, you'll be able to have confidence in your product. People might have known that at least it has passed through a lot of quality control check before it gets to the market. You understand? And at the end of the day, in the long run, it's going to improve the profit margin of the producer because the sales will improve. You understand? If you have confidence in your product, what I'm producing out is of good quality. And to the producers, let me clarify it. It has been observed in Nigeria that it is producer or seller that dictate the price, the quantity, and the quality. But this time around, the consumer have shifted their attention to the issue of quality. As a producer, I'm controlling the price. I'm based on my cost of production. I'm controlling the quantity. At the same time, the quality. You understand? One must not mind each other. You understand? But this time around, the consumer You understand? They now they have shifted attention to the quality. You know, it has become a common thing now. If a product does not have a NAFDAC number, check on the NAFDAC number, I won't take it. Should it expire? For instance, now my children, I have trained them to understand that any product that does not have NAFDAC, they will not take it. A friend of mine came from UK, he brought biscuits, you understand, he give it to them. But daddy, this one does not have a NAFDAC registration number, we won't take it. I said, don't worry, it has passed through major quality control check in the UK, you understand. So it has a lot of advantages for, even the producer, the consumer too, they'll be able to ascertain the quality of the product they are consuming. You understand? If it has a NAFDAC registration number, you know, NAFDAC registration number, you have to follow a lot of regulatory procedure before you can get a NAFDAC number. Once you get your NAFDAC number, it shows that the product, in fact, is fit for consumption. It's fit for public distribution in Nigeria.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at this. At what point should business apply for this number? At the point before they start to sell? At the point of setup? Or do they have to start the business first before applying? Because I know now the registration process is not overnight.
Of course, it's not overnight. It takes, like I said, it's a procedural things. So you understand? It's even better, you understand, before you start producing your product or selling it out, to avoid being penalized by NAFDAC, to start the product, to start the processing. For instance, now you have to register your business with Corporate Affairs Commission. It's not compulsory you register the limited because of the financial capability, most especially the small scale producers. You can register the venture, the enterprise. So it's acceptable by NAFDAC. Once you get that one registered, the next stage is trademark. The trademark is to register the name of your product. Some people get convinced. You're not convinced. You understand the difference between getting your product, getting your business registered with CAC and trademark. You understand? Maybe the name of my company is Sparkle Nigeria Enterprises. My product is Sparkle Water. That is my trademark. And that trademark is in different classes. Like a chemical is class 1. Water is in class 32. Cosmetics is in class 5. You understand? Food item like plantain chips, gari, they are under class 30. So while something like fish, fried meat, everything, you understand, they are under class 29. The alcoholic beverages, class 33. So when you want to register the name of your product with Ministry of Trade and Investment in Abuja, you have to get it right. Like water now, you are supposed to at least register with class 32, and you got it wrong, you register with class 33. Now that will not take it from you. So you have to register it appropriately. So those are the first two things that you have to do. Register with the Corporate Affairs Commission, trademark with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment in Abuja. Once you get that one, you can now proceed to the proper NAFDAC registration.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. How long does this take, on the average, if I start today?
At least 90 days.
3 months?
That's 3 months, you understand? But meanwhile, it depends on your own commitment. You understand? I've seen a lot of clients, they say, Alaji, you want to start this business. In the next, I will pay whatever I'm supposed to do, I will do it. But at the end of it, maybe if I no time to financial problem or whatever, you understand, they may not meet up with the time, you understand? So you know, the 3 months that we have already scheduled has already cut. So you have to start all along again, you understand? Did you get me well?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I also know that NAFDAC will usually do physical inspection of where you're making it.
Yeah.
Okay, what of those businesses that actually import? They don't have the factories here, the factories outside the country.
That is the imported product.
Yes, but that still requires
NAFDAC. It's required. If in India, in China, NAFDAC has to go to that place, you understand, to go and see, to go and inspect the production facility there, you understand? Not that you just import something from China or from India, you come to Nigeria. It's not like that. You understand? Once you do your proper documentation in Nigeria, you know you have, the company might have had their agent here in Nigeria, register in Nigeria with trademark, you understand? So after the proper documentation with NAFDAC here in Nigeria, they will now go to that particular company where the product is being imported to Nigeria. They go and do the facility inspection there. It is found satisfactory, so they are okay. They will come back to Nigeria. They will continue the processing. But if they get to that place and it's not worthwhile, so they have to reschedule the inspection and to the expense of the producer and the agent in Nigeria.
That's a lot of cost. Okay, the numbers that NAFDAC give, is it per product line or per product? For instance, I make water in bottle,
sachet
in
water.
sachet.
Yeah.
So am I going to get NAFDAC number for sachet?
Another
one for bottle, or one number for the two of them?
I like the example you gave now. You understand? Let me clarify it very well. So the popular pure water, we call it sachet water. The other one is bottled water. You understand? You have to get different number for the two. So the NAFDAC registration number for water is listing license, while the other one for the bottle is a full registration license you have to get. So the certificate, the NAFDAC certificate for sachet water valid for 2 years, while for bottled water valid for 5 years. This means that every 2 years you have to renew your certificate for sachet water. Every 5 years you have to renew your certificate for bottled water.
Renewal means I have to pay again.
Yes, the same process you did. Just, that is the quality assurance check to ascertain that the set standard that you have already passed through the other one. Maybe you are still maintaining it, or you have already defeated from. You know our people, especially in Nigeria, one now that has gone like that, they begin to do whatever they like. You understand? And mind you, after you might have gotten your NAFDAC number, that one does not mean that NAFDAC cannot come to your factory. At times they may come on notice. That is called routine inspection. When they get there and you find that some ground you differ from the set standard, you are going to be penalized. For instance, now for every factory you have to have your production manager. If NAFDAC comes to your factory and they don't find your production manager on ground, you'll be penalized. If they get to that place, you understand your quality control check is not proper, you'll be penalized. You understand? So it doesn't mean that once a NAFDAC registration number is not just like a car number plate number that you just wake up in the morning, call somebody, I want to get a number plate or whatever, I can do whatever I like. So this is a regulated affair. So you have to at least bottle your this thing. Whatever you produce for the public consumption, the quality must be there. You understand? So that is what I mean.
Okay, for instance, if for instance I'm doing something that involves sizes, but the same thing, maybe a drink and one is 100 ml and one is 50.
Sizes.
Am I going to get different or one?
No. Let me get. For instance, let's take a flavor drink as an example.
Okay.
If I'm producing sparkle flavor drinks now, you understand? If I have apple flavor, orange flavor, pineapple flavor, I have to get different number. So the flavor has differentiate them. So I have to get different NAFDAC registration number.
What of size?
And I'm coming. But if it's the same pack size, you understand, you get the same size. Like a sparkle flavor drink, pineapple juice, 500 ml, 300 ml, 200 ml. They call it pack extension. You understand? So you get the same number for the 3 pack sizes.
Thank God for that.
Yeah. So I lay your fear.
Yeah. Let's talk about potential cost. I know that the cost won't be the same because it's going to be based on the kind of products, ingredients, and all that. But on the average, let's take the simplest, for instance, water, which is just probably one or maybe 2 components.
Yeah.
Like, what's the cost? Because I think that people will like, how much is it? Because if I have to do it, it's going to be part of my cost of production.
Yeah, of course.
And I don't want my products to be priced too high.
No. I mean, I cannot say it's part of your cost of production. You understand? You know, NAFDAC registration, once you get it, you understand? At least I told you the other time, the sachet water for 2 years. You understand? The bottled water is for 5 years. You understand me very well. So within that 2 years, maybe you want to buy packing nylon, you want to buy the flash sheet, that is a pure water, the nylon, you understand? So we consider those one as part of your raw materials, so that you can at least buy on your cost of production. But now that this is a fixed thing,
which will still have to be absorbed.
You understand? Let me tell you, get it right. Now, it shows that, can you say that because I buy a car, you understand? So I must incorporate the cost of buying the car and the cost of getting the number plate registration.
Finance actually do. They do depreciation. They spread it over the years the car is going to be used. Maybe not your variable cost, not your direct cost, but it's still going to be part of your cost. It's going to be broken down over the time it's going to work.
Yeah, I get you very right. You understand? For now, for sachet water now, you understand the tariff is 80 plus. For now, for sachet water, while for bottled water, as I believe, is 90,000 naira plus for the tariff that you have to pay. But they have a lot of documentation, the regulations they have to meet before you can pay that money to NAFDAC cover. Now this time around, that's a software program the NAFDAC is using now, NAPAMS, NAFDAC Automated Products Administration and Monitoring System, that is NAPAM. It is from this software that you pay your money. All your document, you understand, you upload it, you understand, you get your invoice, so automatically you pay the money and you take the receipt to NAFDAC, you exchange it for the what is called, for the receipt rather, you understand, you attach it to all the documents. So from there, so your inspection is being scheduled.
Okay, thank you very much. The thing is, whether we like it or not, once you're in that business, it's just something you need to get. So it's not a case of whether you like it or not. It's optional.
No. You know, it is illegal, as I said the other time, to sell any product that has no NAFDAC registration number. You understand? No, just leave the issue of NAFDAC alone. You know, in Nigeria now, with what we are consuming, I saw it somewhere, somebody frying plantain chips in an environment that is not being hygienic. You understand? So it's not about NAFDAC, it's about our own health as consumers. You understand? It's very, very important. For instance now, if you want to register your plantain with the NAFDAC, they will ask you the certificate of analysis for the vegetable oil you are using in frying the plantain. You understand? If it is of low standard, NAFDAC will not accept it. You understand? So this time around, we have a lot of vegetables that contain a lot of cholesterol. That's why you have a lot of health challenges here and there in Nigeria. For instance, most of people that are producing this, all this bitter of 18. Now that requires that for every bitter, the percentage content of alcohol must not more than 15%. But go to most of these producers, it's more than that, just to check people. Alumo, so you do a lot of things like that. So Yoruba say we are cleaning ourselves. It's even preferable, you understand, to register your product with NAFDAC. You have confidence in your product anywhere in Nigeria and outside Nigeria. You cannot take any of your product outside Nigeria without having a NAFDAC number, even up to the World Trade Organization Center. You have to get your product registered with NAFDAC. They had been to many advanced countries. You understand? Even their own procedure is more rigorous than what NAFDAC is doing here in Nigeria. So maybe because of the level of the poverty, abject poverty, we found ourselves here. You understand? In this small scale or whatever. And thanks to NAFDAC now, there's 80% reduction on the tariff now. The product that you are supposed to pay 100 plus now, they have cut it 80%. Maybe you just pay 7,500 for your tariff. Once you get all your required documents. Hello.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Elijah. Thanks for coming. All right. That was Elijah Wahab, and is a consultant on regulatory affairs, NAFDAC.
I'm also a consultant to United Nations, UNIDO. United Nations Industrial Development Organization, in charge of Nigeria and Benin Republic. So commercial and industrial partnership. So at least we've married a lot of companies together between Nigeria. Whatever I produce here in Nigeria, my finished product may be their raw materials there. Their raw materials there may be my own finished product here. So that's a change of business idea and the materials in producing the
items. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay, after the break, we go into this sector segment. We're focusing on agri today. Case in point, tomato. That is one food ingredient that a lot of people actually agree on. All of this after the break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the Profit Point Show, and this is the sector segment, and we're looking at agri-sector. We looked at agri-sector last week, and we considered cassava. Today we're talking about tomatoes, and that tomato is one food ingredient that, like I said it before we went on break, that everybody seems to agree on, because you find it in more than 90% of the food we take. It cuts across tribe, it cuts across region, and demand is always there. So when it comes to marketability, you can never get it wrong when it gets to when it comes to selling or going into the business of tomatoes. I have Ambrose Omedian joining me on this segment. Welcome back, Ambrose.
Thanks.
Okay, I know this is no stock, but
Yeah,
you should maybe say something regarding tomatoes. Okay. All right, before we proceed to the challenges, let's talk a bit about tomatoes. It's interesting to note that there are actually different kinds of tomatoes. We've got the passion tomato, the cherry potato, grape, you have plum potato. Is interesting that we have different types of tomato. And you might be wondering, why do I need to know the different types of tomato? You need to know because each and every one of these tomatoes actually have their own attributes when it comes to color, seed compartment, solid density, the juiciness. You need to know because these will actually determine your final produce. So let's take, for instance, you want to go into the business of paste making, tomato paste making. Then you need to consider the plum tomato because that is the one that has the highest level of solid content, the one with hard back, and the one that actually lasts longer. It stays, it helps your product to stay longer when you package it in sachet on the shelf instead of getting expired in time. So that's one of the reasons you need to know types of tomato. And also, we know that tomatoes actually can thrive on a lot of soils, but the kind of region where you are, we also determine the kind of tomatoes that you can produce. So it's better for you to know the kind of tomatoes before you even begin to plant. Talking about planting, the things you need to put in mind is that from the seeding, you need to have high quality seed. Very important. And the one you need to go for is the improved yield species. Not just your local one. Just don't go into the market and just buy any seed. No, you need to get the one that's actually improved species, because that is the one that is going to help you guarantee your yield once the tomatoes is ready for harvesting. Another thing you need to consider is the kind of soil that you're using to plant tomato. Yeah, tomato can actually thrive on a lot of kind of soil, but the best kind of soil for tomato is the black loose loamy soil. So when you're establishing your nurseries and you spread your tomato on it, cover with dry leaves. Once it's done, once it's germinated 5 to 7 days, of course you water it, then you can now gently and tenderly move it to the permanent farm. Tomato is a very delicate plant, and you need to be careful when doing that, moving it from the nursery to the permanent farm. Then 2 months after, you talk about weeding it off and also putting fertilizer to actually return to the soil the nutrient that the weeds have actually taken. If you have a big farm, you may not be able to do it on your own. You need to employ hands. But whilst doing that, you also need to monitor them so that they don't destroy the potato and the tomato in the process. Another thing you need to consider is tomato is a plant that thrives during rainy season. It thrives during rainy season. When it gets to dry season, it dries up. So if you're planting, target rainy season, or if you want to plant year-round, then you need to have good irrigation system. And tomato is a kind of plant that's between 2 to 3 months, it takes like 3 months from planting to harvesting. So the time for tomato to grow, to plant, to grow, to harvest is really short. So it's something you can do almost all year round, provided you have everything that you need for it to actually survive. So that is about planting. Talking about marketing, just like every other business, before you even begin to go into business, you need to know, how do you want to sell this? Tomato is a kind of produce that actually is a case of numbers. The profit margin is not so much, so you need to sell volume. It's a volume kind of business. So if you want to go into tomato produce as a business, then you need to think large. Like you need to sell a lot in baskets and sell fast, because it's something that people consume like on a daily basis. So your profit margin may be little, but because of the high turnover, you end up making money. And that is one produce that doesn't go out of stock. Over 150 million Nigerians actually consume tomato, and we have still not met demand. We're still importing tomato paste, and we still have a lot we're still producing here, and demand is still not met. Meaning that there are a lot of businesses that you can actually go into tomato business, and if you do it right, is a business that you can actually make profit from. All right, let's talk about challenges. Ambrose, how are you once again?
I'm fine.
I'm sure you're thinking of tomato. Which one should we do? Let's do plum.
Okay, yes, that is better.
Because I know you're thinking of business.
Yes,
all about
yes,
business. Okay, let's get into the challenges. And the first one on the list is the low yield. According to statistics, Nigeria is actually like within 12th on the list
12,
of
yeah, 12.
highest
Producing
producing nation in the world.
Yeah.
But when it comes to our yield, we are like 146 or so. It shows that we're producing a lot of tomatoes, but the yield when it comes to the ones we can actually use for industrial purposes, you want to export, is actually low. And it actually stems from the kind of seed we even use to begin with. So that's the first challenge. What do you think? How do you think we can actually combat this issue?
One is information. Information is key. Most farmers don't understand the
Difference between local
hybrid seed and the local one. What do you know that is tomato? They go to the farm and farm before you know it. And the funny is that those local seed goes rot quickly because once there is water to contact seed, that is almost there. But if they understand that they can go for a higher yield that will give them what they expect, and that will also boost their return, I think it's better, either the agricultural, what do you call it, not the extension, great extension we have in Nigeria, should also go ahead and do education. It's proper education is what they need. Once you do the education, it also change their mindset. They will start going forward those high there, and because that will also boost their earnings at the end of the day. Not only that, if really want to go into commercial, farm, we want to start doing the whole chain from planting to finish. You need good seed, so that when you are doing your tomato paste, you won't use the local seed, the local product to do the paste. You need those ones that are well, processed. That you need to have those hybrid seed, so that at the end of the day, you harvest good tomato. Like as you mentioned, those category that they can go a long way. Whether it's on you can use it for preservation, because even though we are doing preservation normally with equipment, the kind of the seed you use also support it. If you are going to stay like 5 months and you use the better seed, it can be 8 months. But if you are using a local seed, it can be just that 5 months, then you will be complaining. But if you are using a better seed, hybrid seed, it will take like 8 months. It's better for you that is producing and the person that is also processing it for business. That is why I think education comes here first. And let's say anywhere that in any business we are doing, you need to go about knowledge about it. Go for education. Not say because you have head knowledge or no. Educate yourself, expand, because things are changing, information are changing, and technology is making things more easier for us. I think education should be the first step to solve this issue. Once you have information, you can go for the right,
Another problem that's there is storage. Tomato is very perishable. It's highly perishable products, and we have issues with storage, maybe because many of those farms are fragmented. And a lot of those farmers are just out to produce the one they want to take, then take the rest to the market. So when it comes to storage, I'm thinking is that these farmers are thought how to actually store, or government comes into it and creates storage center, or puts an enabling environment down for SMEs to actually come and take up that supply chain.
So that people, now become another business for another sector of people. But actually, you just said that the storage problem in Nigeria is not just only for the tomato farmers. It's nearly across all the different sectors in terms of farming, agriculture in Nigeria. That storage is a major problem. I think if it is solved, it will go a long way to encourage agricultural activities in Nigeria. Why people are still staying back, not going to farming in any form, is because they don't have the storage. Because I'll tell you, when yam is coming newly like this, yam will go cheap. Once it's going, but if there is storage facility, one can always key in the right time to have it, and it will be there all time at the market. You will have a good price and good value for it. I think it's not only in tomato farming. You should generalize that government should look the way that will boost the farming, the tomato business, and encourage people to go in. Before we know it, since we have the market already in Nigeria, let's produce more and let's go forward the right yield.
Thank you very much, Ambrose. That's how much we can take on this segment. But at the end of the day, tomato, when it comes to business, you cannot get it wrong if you do it right. Thank you very much, Ambrose, once again. And
thanks for having me.
This is where we're going to end today's show. The show returns same time next week, Thursday, from 11 to 12, same station, of course. For sponsorship and adverts, you can reach us on 0809 999-1832. 0809-999-1832. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye. At least I didn't have to.
This is to inform the general public that in response to the effect of COVID-19 pandemic, the state governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun MFR, has graciously approved the following tax reliefs: extension of deadline for filing of 2019 income tax returns by self-employed individuals and the informal sector from March 31st to September 30th, 2020, and a complete waiver of interest and penalty; extension of filing of 2019 annual pay year returns with a complete waiver of interest and penalty of same from January 31st to September 30th, 2020. Late remittance of monthly payee also enjoys this waiver. Waiver of weekly tax for operators and promoters in pools and betting business from April 1st to June 30th, 2020. Video conferencing has been adopted for Tax Audit Reconciliation Committee meetings. For inquiries, log on to www.ogunstaterevenue.com or our Instagram, Facebook or Twitter accounts. Hotlines 0806 024 0778, 0807 058 0651. Announcer, Chairman, Ogun State Internal Revenue Service.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you.
Morning, sir. I'm here with the document.
Wow, that's good. That's good. That's good. Madam, can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
Please, where do you get this land from?
I bought it from Omonile.
Omonile. With what I have here with me, I can tell you that this land belongs to government.
Government?
In fact, it's government acquisition land. If you want to buy land or buy property in Ogun State, it's better to visit Ogun State Housing Corporation.
At Ogun State Housing Corporation, you are guaranteed property on a secured land, either for residential or industrial purposes. Landed property can be secured in all the senatorial districts of Ogun State: Ogun Central Senatorial District, Ogun East Senatorial District, and Ogun West Senatorial District. Visit the Ogun State Housing Corporation's office at Ibarra Housing Estate, Abeokuta, or call Ogun State Housing Corporation, committed to home ownership with ease.
There are some mischief makers who are in the habit of peddling fake news on the internet, while also encouraging others to further spread these unfounded information. Fake news can lead to tension, apprehension, create fear amongst the populace, and mislead others. Before you post or share any information on social media, verify the information. It is our responsibility to stop the spread of fake news.
Hello and welcome to Ogtv News at Noon. I am Olayinka Shodunke. Nigeria has recorded 453 new cases of coronavirus, bringing the total number of COVID-19 infections in the country to 47,743. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, disclosed